Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Modern here at Paradise Games. I'm Alex, and joining me tonight is my friend James.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back, James. Glad to have you back. And
Always glad to be back.
I believe we have Hallie versus spacing on the player on the left's name already, but I'm sure our production will get it updated quick. But I do know that we got a little bit of Nathan. I do know that we got a little bit of Burn versus Blue Moon here. So I expect this one to go somewhat quick here.
Yeah, I'm pretty in favor of Burn taking over this game.
Blue Moon relies a lot on your opponents having greedy just greedy decks in general, whether it be a greedy mana base, a greedy plan that gets picked apart by a couple spot removals or whatever. And boy, is Burn's plan not greedy. You're like, I'm gonna play some mountains and maybe an Inspiring Vantage and a Sacred Foundry or two, but mostly I'm just gonna sit here and attack you a bunch.
Oh, but Thing in Ice could put a damper in some things.
Thing in the Ice is nice, actually. That's definitely the best card in the matchup for Nathan. He basically needs to take sort of a blue-red Phoenix approach to how this matchup used to win, which was you just have to race Burn. And that's kind of true with every deck. Burn kind of forces you to race it. And, as strange as that sounds, a lot of decks do actually have a pretty reasonable chance of racing Burn. And that's just because the power level of Modern has gone up so much. And, we keep seeing Hallie just, burn spell, send them all at you. Nathan not willing to block the Goblin Guide because he just values his Thing in the Ice too much. And he's down to a very low life total. Hallie's been flinging spells at him, but we'll have to see what all Nathan ends up doing here. Down to 9 already. And it looks like just a handful of burn spells here for Hallie in this game.
Nate taking to 2 again.
Yeah, down to 7. We definitely want to remember that Goblin Guide trigger, but... Ooh, Hallie taking a little bit of time off here. Try to resolve an Eidolon of the Great Revel. Remand will get that one out of here. Back to the hand. Counter off of the Thing in the Ice, but still down to 7.
Oh, it looks like they remembered the Goblin Guide trigger.
All right.
Showed
the Lightning Bolt. That was the top card.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Tapped Stomping Ground. Interesting. So Stomping Ground, definitely not super common anymore in Burn. So Hallie must be going a little bit older school, valuing some sideboard cards. Is the most likely option, and maybe she's got a little bit of main deck spice floating around, but more likely
it's just the Destructive Revelry in the sideboard.
Yeah, most definitely. So here's the attack for 2, and I think Nathan's probably going to be priced into blocking now.
I would block here. Going into 5 is just absurd.
We need to have a plan to win the game.
If he's not already dead the spells.
Absolutely. We need to have a plan to win the game, and if you have like a Remand in hand or anything like that, which I think I can see, you're going to want to hope to... You're just going to want to hope to be able to, protect it. Ooh. All right. So we'll have to see what she wants to do. Looks like he did declare the block. Boros Charm. Looks like that will attempt to go upstairs. Will not be resolve. Remanded. Force of Negation in hand for Nathan. That's a pretty good one to have here.
Nathan remanding with the remand he left on top of his library.
Remand into remand. That's a pretty good one.
It's one of my favorite chains.
Yeah. All right. Another island here.
No red sources. Seer
Indeed.
Visions.
Here's the flip, though, from Nathan. And now he might have a chance to really start turning it back around on Hallie. We'll see if he's comfortable even attacking, though, because, he is at 7 and he knows Hallie has a Goblin Guide in her hand.
And a Boros Charm.
Yeah. And an Eidolon. So, we'll have to see how this goes.
Looks like he's attacking.
I think I agree with this plan. I think we need to win the game, and we kind of just need to hope that we aren't dead. That is Lethal Burn off the top for Hallie. Let's see if she tries to go for it. It's all instant speed too, so she can actually just pass the turn and make Nathan waste mana on his turn, and then untap and try and point more burn spells at his face, and really try and overload the mana here.
Yeah, as much as I don't like burn, I do enjoy the playstyle of burn, where you kind of play like a control player. You play all your sorceries and wait for your instants on your opponent's end step.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they tap out for something.
Yeah.
And then have free reign on your next turn.
Yeah, so here, Hallie is firing off this Boros Charm just right now. And it looks like it's going to get Snap remanded, which is not the best line here from Nathan. That takes a lot of mana. And now Hallie has the green light. No mana. Of course, Force of Negation is in hand for Nathan. Another benefit to playing on your opponent's turn is that Force Negation is going to be turned off. So
looks like he's force pitching Archmage Charm.
Yeah, Archmage's Charm, of course, will be exiled. And here is down to 12 for the Goblin Guide. See if she wants to get in there and attack. I think I prefer blocking with it. And Hallie agrees, especially because you know your opponent has a lightning bolt. You're going to need to toss this Goblin Guide in front of the 7/8 so that you get another untap step here. Because if Nathan just draws red mana, we're just pretty dead. Interesting no attack from the Snapcaster Mage here.
I think he's not like promoting lethal. And if she cracks back... clearly she's not blocking the Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that her plan is to chump the 7/8. She didn't attack, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that's pretty free 2 points of damage. Because if you have a red land there, she's dead. And she knows that. So I don't think she can afford to not chump the Awoken Horror there. Lightning Helix U, I believe that is
Cryptic
Command. Mm-hmm. Counter and draw.
I only know because I saw him play that at the 1K last weekend.
Yeah.
Do not know the arts of the invocations.
Lightning Helix you down to 4. Okay. Hallie, excuse me. Up to 15 with that. She'll take 1 to 14 now off the Sunbaked Canyon. Let's see what else she's got in store. Looks like Skewer the Critics U. Nathan to 1. Good thing Force Negation, not Force of Will. We'd be dead.
Looks like he finally drew the fetch land.
Yeah, right on time. Right on time. Source. All right. So, of course, cannot crack his fetch land, cannot get red mana. Lava Spike, that's lethal. Now,
I would cast my Eidolon first.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the Cryptic Command. Let's see what else she's got. Here comes the Eidolon of the Great Revel. That's basically just going to be a chump block, and then the Sunbaked Canyon plus an untapped land will be a redraw here as well. So, Cryptic Command will do it. Of course, CMC4. No need to get burned out for the last point. That was a close one. That was pretty close. And due to technical difficulties that we had prior to starting this match, of course, we do not have our sideboards displayed, but we do expect that to be fixed in the future. So sorry about that, but I'm glad we're here regardless. Had a little bit of a scare there. Thank you very much to our producer for putting in more work than is necessary as per usual to make sure that we are up and running today.
God, we love that guy.
Yeah. So anyway, let's just talk about what we expect these sideboards to have. So we're both pretty accustomed with Modern. Let's talk about Burn first. Burn, we did see the green lands from Hallie, so I expect cards like Destructive Revelry to be in her sideboard.
Don't expect them to be in the coming out.
Coming in, yeah. So the normal ones are cards like Skullcrack, Deflecting Palm. Those are kind of the hits. Path to Exile, Rest in Peace type cards. What are like the normal traditional burn cards are you thinking you like bringing in here in game 2?
Deflecting Palm might be something to consider. It's something you play on your opponent's step and they attack with the Thing in the Ice, hit them back for 7.
Yeah, given that Nathan's primary plan is Thing in the Ice, I don't hate Deflecting Palm. It's also definitely an argument where, your opponent needs to do something pretty particular to be able to beat you, and maybe you just want to keep all the burn spells in your hand, and maybe Path to Exile is just better.
Yeah.
It's gonna clear the way, and
it's gonna clear the 7/8 off the field.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Nathan over on the side of Blue Moon. Traditional sideboard cards are some more cheap counter spells, Spell Pierce, that type of thing. Of course, not having the White Splash for the traditional life gain options means that his life gain and his burn plan is going to suffer because of it. What cards do you think he might have access to that he's going to want to be implementing in this game too?
I definitely think Spell Pierce is a huge consideration. He definitely wants to board out Blood Moons. He's probably maining 2, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So if he has 2 Blood Moons, 2 Spell Pierces, that's kind of free. Maybe go down on some number of cryptic commands because they're slow.
Very slow.
And like sometimes I even like going down a Snap because he's also very slow.
Yeah, pretty slow. He does get to block, which is nice, but also Hallie could have theoretically boarded in some number of Rest in Peace.
Sure.
I'm not a huge fan of that from her side, but it's not uncommon.
It's not uncommon
if you're
for people
Nathan,
to do that.
Yeah, if you're Nathan, I think that you can definitely kind of account for that. Looks like players drawing their opening 7s here for game number 2. Hallie, of course, will be on the play. Ooh, she looks anguished at this 7. The classic burn 1-lander, I presume. Looks like she's leading on a Sunbaked... Oh, an Inspiring Vantage and a Goblin Guide. All right. I don't know why she would be pained. I think this one's just
like
keep.
Snap Keep.
Yeah, I think this one's just keep. I don't really know what the other 5 cards are, but I'm going to have a hard time mulliganing Inspiring Vantage Goblin Guide if I'm Hallie.
Yeah.
Pretty much ever. In the amount of burn I've played, I'm a big fan of keeping my 7-card hands, even if they aren't perfect, because burn really needs all the cards to be able to get there. And like we saw last game, like being short 1 damage or whatever, I don't think Hallie mulliganed, but that can really be exemplified by mulliganings instead being short 1 damage or short 3 or whatever. So...
Going to 17 here with the Prismatic Vista.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see some red cards this game.
Maybe. Yeah, notably, Nathan did manage to pick up game 1 against Burn without ever seeing his second color.
When he had about, I think, 2 lightning bolts in hand.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
snow-covered mountain. Hey. Nice going, Nathan. All right, so...
Probably declaring that he's bolting the Goblin Guide.
Yeah, given that Goblin Guide's in the graveyard already.
I'd probably wait until she casts an Eidolon or with the trigger on the stack.
Yeah, you get a free attack out of that Goblin Guide if you just do it on her turn when she attacks. If she puts an Eidolon on the stack, you got to bolt it and accept that you're losing about a half a card. But
or wait and bolt the Eidolon because
that too.
That card is annoying.
That too. So here is Mountain from Hallie. Looks like she's holding up some burn spells. For Nathan's turn. We'll see what Nathan wants to do. I did see a young Pyromancer in his hand earlier.
That's a plan.
Yeah, that's
Block
definitely
all the creatures.
A pretty good sideboard plan. And I would assume it is a sideboard plan from
Yeah.
Nathan. It's usually not the main deck plan of these decks, but seems like a decent one here against Burn.
Looks like we're shoving it in.
Yep. I mean, we didn't board it into a knot. All right, there's a Boros Charm. Pretty expected. That'll put Nathan all the way down to 12 here. Pretty reasonable start. Ooh, looks like a lot of lands in hand for Hallie. That might make a little more sense why that anguished look came out earlier. Let's see. We definitely at least have a Skewer the Critics. So let's see what she wants to do. Sunbaked Canyon, pretty good. Suspend a Rift Bolt and probably just going to crack her Sunbaked Canyon on Nathan's turn. I tend to like that turn that play. It'll make her Skewer the Critics cost a single mana on her next turn, and hopefully try and overload Nathan's mana, which I keep mentioning is like really the plan in this matchup, but it really is the plan. You want to take a turn off, 1 turn doing everything. Basically Nathan's trying to spend all of his mana every turn to deal with your threats, and if you make him...
It looks like she did not crack the Sunbaked Canyon, and he remanded the Rift Bolt.
Yeah, totally. Pretty odd. I think I would have liked to see a crack on the Sunbaked Canyon given her hand, but I think if you're going to hold up 2 mana and do nothing with it, I think you should probably just crack it.
Use your mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
also, it's very common to just forget what your plan is when it's not in your hands.
It's true.
I've done it multiple times.
Many a time, yeah. So, here's the main phase Lightning Helix U. Of course, this makes a little bit... Ooh, Spell Snare. Yuck. Oh, that one's so good against Burn. Spell Snare, just an absolute all-star in this matchup for Blue Moon. Let's see what she's got now. Just another Suspend on that Rift Bolt. And an untap for Nathan. Here's the 4th land. Cryptic Command, now online if he has any of those.
Attacking for 4 here.
Yikes. Yeah, got to put that clock on. Like I said, this is a race, whether or not you want it to be. You do have to race burn every time you play against it. So here is the upkeep. Ooh, young Pyromancer with the Rift Bolt. Okay. Just Allie trying to slow it down a little bit, decides that this isn't really the race she wants to take, and she's happier playing a longer game where she's just going to draw more spells and force Nathan to answer all of them. I don't hate that choice.
No, like, Pyromancer will win him the game if she lets it unchecked.
Absolutely. And
going to Cryptic Command the Skewer.
Yep. Yeah, 3 damage upstairs. Not about it. I think I might have preferred Cryptic Command on the Rift Bolt pointing at my young Pyromancer, but I can definitely understand why you wouldn't, especially with a second one in hand.
If he has a second one, then that makes a lot more sense.
I take that one back, as a matter of fact. Here's a young Pyromancer into a Serum Visions, draw and scry 2, powerful sorcery will. Top and a bottom, and let's see a quick attack here from some elemental tokens.
Oh, I love Pokemon.
Alright. Looks like not too much going on. We do still have that Sunbait Canyon in play for Hallie if she wants to get a look at some more cards. Looks like she's just going to send it back over to Nathan.
Looks like she's getting more flooded this game, and it's probably unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. So
we should really start cracking the cycle in.
Yeah, I expect this one will be gone after this turn for sure. But she's going to need some... Oh, no crack again? Uh-oh. You really hate to see that. Another Sunbait Canyon off the top. Maybe that's the reminder she needed. Yeah, here's another Sunbait Canyon. I mean, 2 fresh cards off the top will be a good start at clawing her way back into this game, but she's going to need to burn Nathan out
if
basically
Nathan doesn't
this
cast
turn.
2 spells.
Yeah, no
Nathan's
joke.
attacking for 5. If you have Lightning Bolt, then he just has it.
Oh, there's a nice Lightning Helix, of course, though. Nathan missing his land drops the last couple turns notably means that his hand basically all spells, so...
And I don't think there's a card that's higher than CMC4 in this deck.
Yeah, no, there isn't. But that's a pretty standard assumption for modern decks.
Yeah.
End step Archmage's Charm.
Draw 2.
Draw 2. And Hallie, we'll see if she takes this opportunity while he's tapped out to cast anything, but he doesn't. Or she doesn't, excuse me. Temple of Epiphany off the top. That's an interesting include. I would think that might be a little slow for Modern, especially when you're trying to just play Blue Moon, You probably can't really get away with that one anymore, but, it looks like Nathan's probably got his one of Temple for his colors or whatever, and we did see him miss on Red Mana in the first game, so can't say I'm too opposed to it.
Trying to Lightning Helix.
Presumably a young Pyromancer.
Remand. She cannot crack fetches or activate a Sunbait
Canyon. Oh, not like this. Well, she can if it is to cast Lightning Helix. But it looks like she'll just take the 5 down to 2. Now what?
Did he not swing with 6? He casted Archmage's Charm on her.
He must have missed a trigger. Regardless,
we're packing up here. Pretty quick game. Not
there's
the way,
that deflecting poem we mentioned.
Not the way that I thought this game would go.
Yeah, me neither. If I was a betting man, I was prepared to slap down money on the Burn side of this matchup, but I don't know. Nathan kind of put on an expo here on how you're supposed to take out Burn.
This did not look like a Blue Moon deck. This looked like a young Pyromancer deck.
Yeah, and those are traditionally much better because they just attack. And here we get to see a little bit of the sideboard plans. Looks like those young Pyromancers, a Braid, an additional couple removal spells, and a Dispel were what brought in from Nathan. All this makes sense for me, and looks like some Paths and some Deflecting Palms were what came in for Hallie. And we kind of talked about all that too. Given the thing that you saw in Game 1, I don't hate that plan. I think, personally, I would have left the Paths in the board, or the Deflecting Palms on the board and brought in the Paths, given what I saw in Game 1.
I believe our producer told us that she actually mains Deflecting Palms.
Also, that's pretty sick. I don't hate that either, given this meta. There's a lot of big attacks running around.
Things that just kill you.
Yeah,
like,
Amulet Titan,
like
all that.
Primeval Titan swing for 20
or
is
whatever. Yeah,
devastating.
For sure. So anyway,
for either side.
Yeah, I would like to get a few of our quick announcements underway here. I would like to remind everybody we are playing at Paradise Games in Bellingham, Washington. We stream Monday Night Modern as well as Play It here every Monday, and we also stream and play Friday Night Magic Standard every Friday. So we are live at twitch.tv/Paradise @paradise_games, Mondays and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. in case any of you guys are watching the VOD. And in case you're watching us live and you want to catch the VOD, VODs can be found on our Paradise Games YouTube channel. And at the same time, make sure and follow us on our social medias. Keeping up to date with us is how we can bring you all of this content. We really, really appreciate everybody that tunes in, and it means a lot to me to be able to be here consistently, to be able to do this. And with that, we'll be back for round number 2. Here is some hot damn scandal to keep you busy. Man, I lost it at the end. Keep you entertained. Thanks, James. We'll be back soon.
It was a rough one.
Yeah, it was.
The bottom fell out of the clouds today, and the rain came down like a mirror. One big sheet and it shattered on the ground. Now it's 7 years of bad luck all over this town. It's collection time on all of your debts, and you can't get by just talking. Your smile don't work, and your car don't start, and your doors ain't keeping you alone. No, not even if you lock them. No, not even if you lock them. When you're tapped into that bit of vein, just about anything feels good. sunshine shining on a lost boy's eyes. They reflected oh so pretty, but it's cold behind them golden shores, and the sweet light wasn't nothing more than their own damn wishing, 'cause they just don't listen. Now wish on your candles, pray to your God, cry for your mama, put $1 on the bar. It feels like breathing, but the only good feeling ain't a gamble, is a sin. So I think I play it safe and get a gin. I'll take the devil for a spin. When you're tapped into that vital vein, just about anything feels good. For some the morning brings another day, but all it does for me is shine an ugly light around in the room that I've been hiding in. Now I take the easy way, yeah, that gets harder every day, but I ain't here to fix myself, I'm just trying to blind these eyes from hell. When you're tapped into that beat of vein, just about anything feels good. I like to swim at the bottom of the barrel. I like to sleep in hidey holes and barroom stalls. I like to hear the piano playing in the bloody little dawn. I like to wake up with the devil and drink him till he's gone. The queen is drunk and someone armed the pawns. Oh, the truth they say is an acquired taste, a vice I've never thought to own. There is no cleaner left, so we filter it through cigarettes. But the gambler's mercy keeps us blind and fade. burn it down, let's 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 burn it down. I've been relying on my bruises, defined my edges against skies of gray, but now my worries are how far away. The sky is clear, and I begin to fade. Once I believed in paradise, a place where I would never feel no pain, a state of mind I'd never have to change. But now it all looks alright, and I begin to fade. Trouble, I need you. I don't know what I am, but I ain't nothing without these blues. I've heard a million happy endings. I've seen the good guys win, I've seen the bad guys pay, but now I never read that final page. 'Cause in that sunset ride, yeah, I begin to fade. Trouble, I need you. I don't know what I am, but I ain't nothing without these blues. Somewhere there's heaven for the hopeless, a place where we can all still wax and wane, a place where cloudy skies can still bring rain. So in my shaking faith, I clasp my hands and pray. I pray for trouble. I need you. I don't know what I am, but I ain't nothing without this trouble. Trouble, I need you. I don't know what I am, but I ain't nothing without these blues.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round number 2 here for Paradise Games Monday Night Modern. This round, we have Bryant playing Amulet Titan and Nathan running it back on Blue Moon here in the winners bracket. Mm-hmm. And, well, let's talk a little bit about this matchup. So, in general, Blood Moon, very impactful card against Amulet.
Yeah.
Amulet Titan. And it's definitely the most important card in the matchup for either player. And it feels like if Blue Moon gets the Blood Moon down, that Amulet Titan really has a hard time winning. But most of the other things that Blue Moon are doing don't matter very much. So the matchup really, really revolves all around Nathan having that Blood Moon. So with that, we'll go ahead and see how this game goes. Bryant here, Once Upon a Timing for Castle Garenbrig. And let's see what else he's got. He's got Basic Forest into a Sakura Tribe Scout. Pretty good turn 1.
I enjoy that turn 1. See what Nate's going to do here. Draw.
Looks like Archmage's Charm off the top. Here is
Taking one for Serum Visions.
Fiery Islet. Drawing another Archmage's Charm. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Yo, dog, I heard you like Archmage's Charm.
I heard
So
you
I'm
like Sakura Tribe Scouts because that's your
here to
target.
take your Sakura Tribe Scout with my Archmage's Charm. Alright, back over to Bryant. We'll see a Castle Garenbrig on turn number 2 here. Probably not much else going on here. Ooh, maybe we might have a early Azusa here with the main phase activation. Cavern of Souls. We'll have to get confirmation what that's naming. Presumably it's naming Giant.
Or human.
It seems unlikely given that Nathan's
Yeah.
tapped out currently.
Correct.
It is, in fact, naming Giant. Here's the first land drop for the turn. We'll see a Teleria West in hand. Looks like Bryant's going to elect to hold on to that one. He does, of course, not currently have the mana for Primeval Titan. He's one land off with that castle in play.
Draw Ancient Stirrings.
Ancient Stirrings, indeed. So, let's see if Nathan's going to let this one resolve. He's probably staring at a remand, knowing Nathan. Nathan has a lot of remands, apparently.
Nathan enjoys his remand.
Yep.
Probably someone should probably deck check him.
He's probably got 20 of them. Yep. All right. So, we've got a Boros Garrison, Sakura Tribe Scout among the cards there. Looks like Boros Garrison might just be the only hit. So we're going to have to take it. Of course, Boros Garrison, not really a land you want to have in play. In this deck, you really prefer to go and get it with Primeval Titan later. But when you don't have an Amulet in play, it's actually pretty reasonable to just have. You know,
Yeah.
you'd rather have an Amulet and not have it in your deck for a later point. But just having it in play when you don't have one is pretty good, too.
He could play his Teleria West Boros Garrison back to his hand.
Yeah, or
Looks like we're electing to pick up Forest and replaying Forest.
effectively the same thing, but
Yep.
doesn't tell your opponent you have Teleria West in your hand, so
Sure.
not too big of a deal. Like the Mighty Attack for one. Oh, baby.
Oh, we in here.
Just go ahead and opt, will Nathan. Leave that one on top. Is that a Brazen Borrower? I think it is. Take one for the second opt. Nathan, take a look at this one. Looks like he'll draw that one, too. All right. How in are you on untap Archmage's Charm your Azusa land?
Is it Power 1 or CMC 1?
I think it's either Power 1 or Toughness 1, I believe. Oh, no, it's CMC 1. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It is CMC 1. Because you can take Death Shadows, yeah.
I would be in on that.
Yeah, because you can take Death Shadows with it. It would be sick, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, Summoner's Pact. Hello. That's the good one. Of course, Bryant will need to get it through. And, of course, you know, he does have that Cavern of Souls on Giant, so Nathan will have to fight over the Summoner's Pacts, not the Primeval Titans, which definitely matters here.
Which is the worst card to fight over.
Yeah, you don't want to pact for a Titan and then get your Titan remanded.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is usually bad news whenever that happens, because this remand card is not going to do a whole lot against against Summoner's Pact. He can just cast that one as many times as he wants. Force of Negation, however, will get the job done.
What did we pitch? Was it Remand?
I'm not certain what he pitched. I didn't get a good look.
Okay.
But it looks like here's a Snapcaster Mage to block. That seems aggressive to me.
Azusa's already done her job.
Yeah, Azusa not really doing much.
Like,
So
you see her in visions.
yeah, okay. I think that you just want to save that Snapcaster Mage there. Unless you're particularly pinched on mana, I think that you just need to... There's just no reason to trade with that Azusa. Clearly, Bryant doesn't have any more lands. He has like one card in hand. The only cards that matter are Primeval Titan. And unless he's worried about his life total, I think even Secure Tribe Scout is more effective of a target to block there than the Azusa.
Yeah. You can do a lot of shenanigans with Sakura Tribe Scout.
Yeah, it looks like here's a Draw Step Vendilion click from Nathan. 3 lands in Bryant's hand.
Lands.
Keep those. Vesuva, Simic Growth Chamber, and Teleria West. So this Teleria West can become a land, but it looks like actually Bryant just played none of them.
I would have liked to see Bryant play
At least
Growth Chamber
play the
and
main
then,
phase chamber and then
and
be
then
able
pick
to
up something and then flash in.
Yeah, for sure. Or be able to flash in the Vesuva copying the Growth Chamber, because then he would be able to transmute his Teleria West on this turn. Yeah, and strangely enough, the Azusa actually would have been quite good here. Which, we mentioned how it wasn't really that good, but here it would have been. Looks like Bryant figuring out what he wants to do on this turn. Looks like 4, 5, 6 mana.
Did we just draw the Titan?
Rip the Primeval Titan. That's a good one. Hello with the Cavern. So it is going to resolve. Let's see if Nathan has anything he wants to do in response. Looks like he doesn't.
God, there's one thing I love.
Yeah, it's just
Ripping the Titan.
right on top as per usual. So I would
probably
expect
gonna Brazen Borrower this Titan.
yeah, most likely. I would expect some Field of the Dead action to be going on here from Bryant.
It's hard to interact with.
Yeah.
That card's just not okay.
It's really, really hard for Nathan to beat, actually. And then also probably another blue land to be able to transmute
This Teleria
West.
West.
So I'm expecting something along the lines of Field of the Dead Breeding Pool here. Field of the Dead Bajuka Bog looks like what Bryant's hovering. I don't hate that either.
No, that's pretty relevant.
Yeah, definitely.
You can bounce it later with Tribe Scout.
I'm also pretty into Field of the Dead we already have a Vesuva
We
in
have
our
a
hand. My
Vesuva.
bad. All right, so looks like 2 zombie tokens on the way here for Bryant. Nathan's Graveyard will find itself in exile, and then I expect Bryant to just send the turn right on back over to Nathan and force him to deal with this giant 6/6.
Yeah, it's a giant for a reason.
Yeah. And Bryant did already play his Forest for turn, so looks like here comes the Brazen Borrower. Petty Theft. Let's see what is getting bounced. It is the Primeval Titan. It doesn't feel good, I'll tell you that much, but, it is definitely an option, and maybe I would have liked to see Bryant get a Slayer Stronghold there, actually, so that next turn, in case his Primeval Titan did find its way back into his hand, which, Nathan has a lot of ways of doing,
Yeah.
he'd be able to give it haste and attack on that turn.
It's more likely that he didn't think of a bounce spell inside of Blue Moon, because a lot of people just forget that Brazen Borrower is a card.
True.
Let's see.
Yep.
End of turn.
It looks
Lightning
like-
Bolt Face.
Yeah.
Looks like we're getting aggressive
Bolt
here.
Face. I tend to agree. I mean, we
Yeah.
gotta win, right? It's not like we can beat this Field of the Dead in a long game. We obviously are missing on Blood Moons, and honestly, Blood Moon looks like it might even hurt Nathan quite a
than it
bit.
would hurt
Yeah. So, end step. Here comes Vesuva copying Field of the Dead, making 2 more zombies. So now Bryant's going to have a whole lot of power here. 9 by my count. So here is Breeding Pool taking 2 damage to have it enter the battlefield untapped. Just drew the Breeding Pool. Who needs to search for it when we could just
Why would you search for
draw it? Yep. I tend to agree. Let's see what Bryant decides to transmute his Teleria West for. I like Pact of Negation quite a bit.
Pact of Negation is a good one.
Yeah,
Oh,
looks like he agrees. Well done, Bryant. Well done.
Love you.
Yeah, whenever you find yourselves in these commanding positions, you can even just let Blood Moon resolve here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You just have enough power and play, especially after you're going to cast this Primeval Titan, that you just don't have to worry about a Blood Moon. You've gotten your use out of Field of the Dead. You made your zombies that are going to win you the game, and that's plenty.
Doubt Nathan's carrying any Fiery Cannonade or anything.
Yeah,
on
anything
hand.
weird like that. Maybe
Yeah.
an Anger of the Gods, but that seems pretty ludicrous. The
Yeah.
double red is rough. I'd be more inclined to see a Kozilek's Return even
Yeah.
out of this deck than Anger. So looks like Bryant tapping his lands, gonna play himself a little Primeval Titan here. Of course,
so
it will
little.
resolve. Yeah, not so little Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
It will, of course, resolve because of Cavern of Souls. And then let's see what he goes and finds. What are you thinking here?
Either he keeps up this Teleria West chain. Oh, looks like he's looking for a Radiant Fountain. Also, we can just get our engine going and try to get our utility lands like Sunhome and Slayer Stronghold.
Yeah,
and just try to get in for as much damage
Notably,
as we can.
Slayer Stronghold plus a bounce land is lethal here, because he can pick up the Slayer Stronghold and then Secure Tribe scout it in, and he does still have that Boros Garrison untapped. So we'll see if he sees that line, but that is that one's pretty tough.
Looks like we're getting Ghost Quarter and Radiant Fountain.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the Slayer Stronghold in some capacity. It's definitely more useful than Ghost Quarter or, Radiant Fountain. I mean, our life total doesn't not matter here. We are afraid of getting burned out, so I don't hate the Radiant Fountain line. But even then, I would have preferred Radiant Fountain bounce land and pick it up to be able to play it as instant speed.
Looks like we are attacking for that 9, I believe.
That is a 9-point attack, so
Yeah.
Nathan will go to 4. And let's see what he's got. Nathan's going to need something good here.
It's gonna need a miracle.
Let it be known that Bryant did make 4 more zombies there, so he's going to untap with 8 zombies. So Nathan's going to need basically the main deck sweeper we talked about, and then also answer to Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
Or a lot of cryptic commands. But even then, Bryant actually does have
Pact of Negation.
somewhat powerful engine to deal with this cryptic command on attacks, because if he had gotten that Slayer Stronghold, you can also just he goes cryptic command your team, you go, okay, activate my Sakura Tribe Scout, put in these lands, get a bunch of zombies, and Nathan needs to have so many cryptic commands. He can do that at end step over and over again, and just we'll see what he finds.
Yeah, it looks like we're not
Looks
finding
like
enough.
it is nothing, and Bryant will take game number 1 here. And with that, let's take a look at these players' sideboards. Nathan has 2 Young Pyromancers, 2 Abrade, 2 Magmatic Sinkhole, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Anger of the Gods, 1 Ceremonious Rejection, 1 Mystical Dispute, 1 Disdainful Stroke, and 1 Dispel. What sounds good to you?
Obviously counter spells that counter Primeval Titan are good. I expect Surgical to come in. If he counters a Primeval Titan and then Surgical's Primeval Titan, that's a pretty good step in his favor.
It's a real good game plan.
I would also expect maybe Anger of the Gods to come in for a way to slow down the zombie race.
The zombies are pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Bryant's sideboard. We have 2 Disdainful Stroke, 1 Field of the Dead, 1 Engineered Explosives, 1 Hornet Queen, 1 Tireless Tracker, 1 Cavern of Souls, 2 Obstinate Baloth, 1 Manglehorn, 2 Dismember, 1 Radiant Fountain, and 1 Force of Vigor. What sounds good here?
I actually don't know. Maybe Tireless Tracker?
Alright, yeah. I can talk. I can give my spiel here.
Yeah,
I think
you play this deck.
Yeah, I think Field of the Dead, definitely.
Okay.
In these grindy matchups, we're
Yep.
definitely going to want the Field of the Dead.
Yep.
I don't hate the extra engineered explosives to just set it out there on 3 against Blood Moon. If you just draw it early and play it, and hopefully before the Blood Moon comes down, that is a proactive answer to it that you need. Tireless Tracker, definitely good in the grindy matchups. That's what it's there for. The extra Cavern of Souls, absolutely.
Yes.
You definitely want to be able to get those Primeval Titans through. And other than that, that seems about right. Pretty much about it. If you need to bring in some extra threats, maybe you favor an Alps Baloth or 2 or a Hornet
You
Queen.
could possibly bring in this Force of Vigor.
Yeah, the Force of Vigor is also definitely bringable.
Yeah.
To deal with Blood Moon. Like I said, Blood Moon is the most important card in the matchup. So
Yeah.
I think you want all of your answers to Blood Moon. You need to bring them all in because you cannot win the game while the card's in play. Realistically, you can just have forest or whatever, and start casting Primeval Titans. But even then, you're just hoping that your 6/6s are good enough to get there, and that's not super consistent.
No,
So
especially when they do have counters under. If your cabins are under Blood Moon.
yeah, you
They're
can't.
mountains.
Yeah, you can't even force the stuff through. Or Field of the Dead doesn't do anything. You
Yeah.
know. Basically, it's a big problem, and I expect a lot of. It's also true that you probably want to be diversifying some threats, so you usually want to do that post board from decks that often have Surgical Extraction, because if they do, surgical your Primeval Titan, you need a plan to win the game. Thankfully, Field of the Dead does a pretty good job at that nowadays.
Yeah, welcome to Core 20.
Yeah, it used to be a lot harder before Field of the Dead,
Yeah.
where if you'd surgical your Primeval Titan, you felt pretty dead. Now you feel like, all right, I just need to draw Field of the Dead, which still isn't a great plan, given that you usually at most have 2 in your 60, but it is still quite powerful and leads to a lot of good engines later on in the game, even if you don't have Primeval Titan. Things like Azusa and 1 bounce land in your hand. If you have a Field of the Dead or 2, you can just play that bounce land 3 times a turn and make 3, 6, 9 zombies every turn or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful engine that a lot of decks can't beat later in the game. So, looks like both players are done with their sideboarding. We'll see Nathan on the play here for game number 2. And hopefully he finds some more Blood Moons.
Yeah, like more than 0. It's a good game plan.
Yeah, more than 0. Like I said, Nathan did not play Blood Moon, and basically everything else he played didn't matter at all, which is kind of the theme of the matchup.
Are we sure even Nathan's playing Blood Moon? We haven't seen it in any of these games.
That's true. Maybe I don't think we've yet to see one, so maybe he's just playing Moonless Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just playing blue. Alrighty. Let's see what both players find in their 7-card hand. Looks like Amulet of Vigor, along with some other early drops. Amulet of Vigor, Ancient Stirrings, lands. I think that might have included a Sakura Tribe Scout as well. Looks like a keep to me, almost certainly. Looks like both players keeping their 7. Scalding Tarn off the bat from Nathan. We'll see if Once Upon a Time before anything else happens. Ooh, we getting a Spell Snare?
Maybe.
That sounds pretty sick.
Once Upon a Time is absurd.
Yeah, it is.
So-
It's like, this is the only time you've ever gotten a mana advantage out of a Spell Snare. Out of your opponent casting Spell Snare. How absurd is that? Oh, it is Spell Pierce, actually. So not
Yeah.
Spell Snare. Still, you actually still feel like you're winning when that happens. It's ridiculous. You just cast it for 0 mana.
You're gonna
and
spell
God-
pierce my free spell?
Yeah, whatever.
I guess I
Yeah.
won't pay 2.
Yeah. You spent 1 mana for that, and I did not.
And now my amulet has resolved.
Yeah, I mean, the entire reason that Spell Pierce and Spell Snare are good cards is because they always trade up on mana. You know, your opponent is always going to be spending more mana for their thing than you're going to be to deal with it. And for the first time, basically, that I've ever seen, that wasn't true here. And that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
And Bryant, of course, Once Upon a Time, on turn 1, when you haven't played a land, you do still have an upkeep.
Yeah, he could have played it on Nathan's upkeep, technically, but I think you just want to take your draw.
Yeah.
And you
See
get the
what
extra
you get.
information. And
Yeah.
if your opponent Spell Pierces it, whatever, you know?
Yeah, like, you're obviously not upset about the spell pierce unless you keep a 0 lander.
Absolutely.
Like a monkey.
Like a complete monkey. So here is Bounce Land into Azusa for Bryant on the second turn. Looks like opt-in response from Nathan. He's going to look for a potential answer. Looks like he just tops a Mystic Sanctuary. Means I expect this Azusa to resolve. Let's see what lands Brian wants to play. Looks like Simic Growth Chamber. Triggers on the stack. So it looks like, ooh, he's Bryant's learning the lesson of you want to play your other lands before that with Azusa. So he's going to make some mana. He does need to return a land to his hand here real quick. With that, Simic Growth Chamber, sorry. Oh, it was a breeding pool. Interesting. It was a breeding pool. But
I'm not
he's
used to seeing shocklands and amulets.
yeah,
yet.
he still got to play it tapped, and then the amulet trigger on untap. Let Nathan respond, because you don't want to pay your 2 life. You got an amulet of vigor to play. Why would you pay 2 life? It's free. Pretty sick, actually.
Ooh, amulet looks like, or ancient stirrings look like just Gang of Forest
Yeah, Forest, one of the best cards in your deck in this matchup.
against Blood Moon.
Yeah, you just want to put Forests into play.
Third land, are we seeing it come down? He
Yeah.
fetched for a basic.
Yeah, it looks probable. But I think Bryant actually has 3 Forests. So I actually expect him to be able to function pretty well here. And there's always the very fun interaction of they play Blood Moon, you play like you have your Azusa, you play like bounce land, bounce land, bounce land, pick up nothing, kill your Blood Moon, cast Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
Which is always absurd whenever that happens, because you just get all of your lands to enter the battlefield untapped for free. You don't have to return anything. I've had that happen where you don't have an amulet, you just have like this Azusa. They play a Blood Moon, and you're like, all right, here's 3 bounce lands, Reclamation Sage that, cast a Primeval Titan. They just ramped you, 4 turns or whatever, which is absurd whenever that happens.
We're not slamming the Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Probably holding up an Archmage's Charm.
Seems likely. He just fetched on his turn. Perhaps he didn't want to get caught fetching at a suboptimal time. It looks like here is a Selesnya Sanctuary. It will, of course, untap because of the Amulet of Vigor. Returns a forest, but it looks like that's all that's going to happen.
Ooh, looks like we are taking this amulet with Archmage's Charm.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I didn't actually know that you could take any permanent with CMC1. I thought it was just creatures with CMC1, so that's pretty sick. I'm pretty about that. Mystic Sanctuary puts the Archmage's Charm back on top now for Nathan, so both players will know that they have access to that on the next turn. And it looks like Cryptic Command is definitely up here.
Mm-hmm. When he accidentally revealed it instead of his land.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, here is the second copy of Amulet of Vigor, just jamming it right into the Archmage's Charm that he knows he has. Well, it looks like Nathan still says it's good enough.
Now it looks like we're Cryptic bouncing a
bounce land. Just counter
bounce.
All right, that's enough for Brian.
That is a devastating blow.
Yeah. I don't think we were done with that game yet, because, it's not like Nathan was doing anything relevant, but I can't really say I blame Brian for picking up the cards in response to that. That just feels so bad. Man, you spent so long. It's the triple time walk. I wouldn't want to deal with that either, so I think we're done here, and I think that Brian just didn't want to deal with that. So
it could also be that he could just keep casting Cryptic Command over and over again with Mystic Sanctuary being an absurd card like it likes to be.
Definitely plausible. He did only have 4 lands though, and if literally the only thing you're doing is casting Cryptic Command every turn, you're actually not going to be progressing the game plan in any way because you didn't have a threat or anything. So I don't think it's quite time to pick up your cards in response to that. You can just play your lands and he'll keep bouncing them, and you can keep playing them. And if he wants to keep doing that every turn, he's not going anywhere. And eventually the things are going to go over well. So anyway, looks like going into game number 3 here, Bryant will be on the play. Let's see what both players have to work with. All right.
Looks like we're getting our boy Jesse some screen time.
Yeah, shout out to Jesse's torso and lower legs.
You can tell it's him because it's that grayish green hoodie with the same hand-me-down pair of jeans.
I love it. It's iconic, though.
It's iconic.
You could tell it's me from the basketball shorts and the t-shirt.
Yeah,
same
and the
thing with
PlayStation
Jesse.
hat.
Damn straight. All right, so it looks like a mulligan here from Bryant. Nathan looks like he's keeping his hand, given that he hasn't shipped it yet. Of course, Blue Moon, pretty consistent. Doesn't have to take a lot of mulligans. Your lands are almost all one color, and your spells are almost all that color. And,
pretty similar to like a burn land base.
Yeah, you just don't really have to ship it very often. So it looks like here is the 6-card hand from Bryant. He'll decide he wants to keep this one. Castle Garenbrig enters the battlefield tapped. Back over to Nathan. See what Nathan wants to do. Looks like Fiery Islet will lead the way. He's got a Lightning Bolt up for any pesky Sakura Tribe scouts that attempt to enter the battlefield this turn, but more than likely it's just going to be a tap land from Bryant. It is send
breeding
the turn over.
Probably?
That is a breeding pool, yes.
We're getting these nailed.
Yeah, the Dissension breeding pool and the Simic Growth Chamber look identical.
Yeah.
It's really pretty bad. I definitely played a tournament this weekend with this deck, and I absolutely said turn 1 tap breeding pool go and put a Simic Growth Chamber into play, and we did not realize it till turn 5. And when I looked down and had the breeding pool in my hand, and I was like, with the Simic Growth Chamber play, I'd just been treating it as a breeding pool all game. Called over judge, was like, this was supposed to happen. It was actually a pretty complicated fix. Basically, they just ruled that it had to be a Simic Growth Chamber. So I just got to put a Simic Growth Chamber into play on turn 1 for free. I got a warning. Obviously, you should not do that, but that was the result. So I ended up plus a mana.
You didn't,
pretty sick.
Yeah, but you didn't use it for any other.
Yeah, I didn't even use it for extra mana until after I'd cast my first Primeval Titan, and it didn't matter. So, whatever. Alright, looks like a pretty slow start for both players. A quick remand here to slow Bryant down a little bit when he tried to cast his Azusa. Pretty standard play from everybody involved.
Yeah.
Here is the land that Nathan was looking for.
That's
and
an
that's
Invocation
the Blood Moon. Oh boy, we do not have basic forests here.
It's foil and shiny, so you know it's devastating.
No green mana here for Bryant. He does, I believe, have a Summoner's Pact to be able to go find his Reclamation Sage as soon as he finds any forest, but he does need to find a forest first to be able to cast the Reclamation Sage in the first place, and if he just gets, like, remanded or something, you're just dead. So, you definitely have to be careful here.
It could get... No, not spell snared.
It could get any number of problems.
Yeah.
Here is another mountain from Bryant, and, well... Let's see if Bryant can find an answer to Blood Moon before Young Pyromancer kills him. That's basically the game we're playing here. I'd expect just a Lightning Bolt upstairs at this point. I think Nathan has one in his hand. I think you should just Lightning Bolt Bryant right now. If you're Nathan, your goal is to win the game before Bryant finds an answer. You only have a single blue mana. Your counter spells are not super online or anything.
Looks like he's doing just that. Nathan
agrees. Excellent Blue Moon play, sir. I agree. 2 more Lightning Bolts in hand? Are you kidding me? Well, I guess that's the plan then. Jeez. Okay. Oh, there's the Reclamation Sage, but still no green mana. Means that I expect Bryant will just have to send the turn back. He's got an Engineered Explosives. He could consider casting it for 0 to try and not die. He will do exactly that. I expect that Nathan will just say, okay, you gotta do what you gotta do. Lightning Bolt you, will be the end step play here from Bryant, or from Nathan, excuse me. Bryant's definitely just going to have to activate this Engineered Explosives because of that. Here's another mountain from Nathan. Let's see if he's got anything else he wants to do. Looks like just an attack. Bryant will blow up his Engineered Explosives and just take 2 down to 4. But if Nathan can cast any 2 spells, that will leave Bryant dead. Of course, Bryant draws another brick. Unfortunate. No spell from Nathan means that Bryant gets 1 more shot at life here. Send it on back. Last card. It is not green mana. Bryant cannot cast any of the spells in his hand. And I think that means that Nathan is going to be our victor here. And finally, we see the power of this Blood Moon here. So, I think that... we'll see probably Bryant, cast a Summoner's Pact and just take a look through his deck for anything at all that he could play, but I don't think there's going to be anything. I believe that Bryant is dead in the water here. Looks like Bryant agrees. Cast our Summoner's Pact, take a look through our deck, see if there's anything at all that can help us, but...
I don't usually like the Invocations, but the Invocation Blood Moon is very, very nice.
I much prefer the Dark Blood Moon. I think that's the best one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight out of the dark. It's just no rules text and non-basic lands or mountains, and it's just so good. It's old. It looks like the moon. Yeah. All non-basic lands are now clean. Basic mountains. It's so good, and then it's just the flavor text. Yeah. I love it.
It's very clean, but out of the Invocations, I probably like the Blood Moon one the most.
Oh, I tend to agree. I generally dislike the Amonkhet Invocations. I used to like them more, and they've kind of fallen off for me since I can't tell what they are on camera ever now. I used to like them more when I could read them and be like, what is this again? Oh, Thoughtseize. But I have no idea what any of them are on camera except for Blood Moon because of that nice red hue.
Yeah.
And so I just do not know what they are on camera, and that tends to drive me a little crazy. I've had many a time where I have to run out of the booth and go ask somebody what their ensnaring bridge is, or whatever. But oh well, here we are. I've gotten most of the lands down now, though. All the BFZ expeditions.
Oh, I was like, there's Invocations of
lands. All the Verdant Shocklands, fetch lands. So Looks like Bryant finds a Primeval Titan. That one's not going to do the trick. And presumably will concede with this Reclamation Sage
Just jam it.
in his hand.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah. I really hope Nathan just says go. Oh, he attacked? That's no good. All right, and there is the handshake. Does not die to his pact. He got that one for free. On rebate, I believe. He got that Summoner's Pact. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that will do it for round number 2. Nathan takes down Bryant. I'd like to take a moment to thank one of the stream's sponsors here, Die Hard Dice. Die Hard Dice is an excellent metal dice brand. They make the best dice for tabletop games, Dungeons & Dragons, Warhammer, basically anything that involves you rolling dice on a table, you're going to want to use Die Hard Dice for. They feel great to roll. They're heavy. They have excellent dice trays to roll them into so that you don't scratch up the table or anything as well. We carry Die Hard Dice in our store here, and you can get them at www.dieharddice.com, and let them know we sent you. It helps a lot. Thank you so much to Die Hard Dice for sponsoring the stream, and with that, we'll leave you with some capacity. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for round number 3. Hello everybody and welcome back to round number 3 here for the Paradise Games Modern Tournament. This is the third and final round for tonight. We have Hallie playing Burn versus David on Bant Soul Herder. You've played a little bit of the Soul Herder deck. What do you think of this matchup?
So I don't know if David's board is planned to, or like built to beat Burn. I know I played Thragtusk and a few Weather the Storms in my sideboard.
Definitely.
The main thing is you can beat Burn with your like creatures and everything. You cannot beat Eidolon.
Okay, That makes
So
sense.
you need to really hold your paths. Like, Goblin Guide is fine.
Yeah, we have
you-
plenty of dudes.
Yeah. Swift Spear is fine for the most part. Like, wait till, like, 3 or 4. If they don't cast Eidolon, then you could probably fire off this path or whatever.
Yeah.
But if they slam an Eidolon into, like, path it immediately. You will not beat that card.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like both players keeping their 7. Hallie starting it off with Inspiring Vantage and a Monastery Swift Spear. Of course, being on the play, quite beneficial for Hallie. Here is a Flooded Strand from David. Presumably going to be finding a tapped shock land, trying not to take too much damage off our lands. Definitely a challenge that every 3-color deck has to face, and you really get put to the test whenever you play against Burn. It's like, did you build your man base in a way that you aren't going to take this much damage and just lose to Burn? But this looks like a pretty powerful start from Hallie here. We see Lava Spike into an attack. That'll be 5 total damage, and then post-combat, suspension of a Rift Bolt here from Hallie. Let's see what David wants to find with his Flooded Strand. Down to 13 already.
Going to his turn 2.
Yeah, with a Rift Bolt on suspend. You don't love that.
No.
Yeah. We'll
I
see.
would just play dumb decks that lose, like, Burn and Boggles. Those are my 2 Bs I cannot beat.
That and Algebra.
Yeah.
Just can't get up to a B. All right, anyway. David does have a Force Negation, so we've at least got that lifeline if we need one. But
It looks like he has Basic Island in his hand, which
that's
is
pretty good.
nice.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Gets him his 3rd color.
Yep. Hopefully we'll see a 2-mana creature here from David. That is what the deck wants to do. Watcher for tomorrow.
Probably the wrong one.
Yeah, not the best one.
Wall of
here.
Blossoms would have been real nice here.
Oh, Wall of Blossoms would have been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looks like
But I think this build is currently playing 1 Watcher for Tomorrow and 1 Wall of Blossoms.
an interesting split. The Watcher for Tomorrow is particularly powerful engine against some of the grindier decks, especially with the card Soul Herder. And, well, the Wall of Blossoms is great against Burn. So, and here we see the split. All right, it looks like Rift Bolt going straight upstairs. I tend to agree with that choice. And now, let's see what Hallie wants to do. I think she has a Skullcrack in her hand. If she has a Skullcrack in her hand, I can't help but feel like this game might just be wrapped up already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, Boros Charm. Hello. I think David needs to Force of Negation this. But it looks like he's just going to take the 6 and then take a hit down to 3? That doesn't sound like a particularly winning line. I think I would have liked to see the Force of Negation on that and then try and stabilize at 4. At least that's probably 2 burn spells.
And we're being cautious and shocking the Stomping Ground, indicating that we don't have 1-drops in our hand.
Yeah, that's good news. Mm-hmm. At least there's no follow-up burn spell to kill you.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
pretty sure we would have seen it if she had it.
Upkeep Bolt probably just would have done him in there.
Yeah, no joke.
Doesn't have the 3 mana to
To-
pay for Force of Negation.
Or the having it be on Hallie's turn.
Yeah.
So we'll see what she wants to do
Ooh,
now.
and
Oh,
devastating.
Windswept Heath. That ain't it, Chief.
Oh, and we're
Yeah,
affected.
go. Yeah, that sounds right to me. Untap, upkeep, and a draw. 2 Skullcracks in hand for Hallie. And the mana to play them both. All right, Skullcrack you.
All right,
what you
this
got?
game's over.
Yeah, we're done here.
Game 2.
Yeah, we're done here. Let's see what David wants to do. He might just... He can't even fetch Basic Island.
Fetch on the stack. Cast the other one.
He can maybe go find a Prairie Stream. That'll let him cast the Force of Negation without
Prairie
having to exile.
Prairie Stream enters untapped with 2 basics.
Is it with... Oh, yeah, you're right. It doesn't even come in untapped. Never mind.
All right, so we're fetching for this
Basic Plains.
to do the following.
Are we Eladomri's calling for a blue card?
We are ephemerating this
Watcher.
for
Okay,
tomorrow.
I buy that. I expect Hallie to just let all of these shenanigans resolve and make David deal with the card he has, or the lethal card she has on the stack right now. Looks like he'll pick up whatever he had under there. I still didn't get a good look. Force of Negation, exiling Icefang Quaddle. Alright, so, that was David's first trick. Let's see if he's got another one.
Watch for tomorrow trigger.
Yes, of course. Alright. Fire off another one. What do we got? Make him have it again. Skullcrack you. Yep, that'll do it. Random note. David was also actually just dead to the Monastery Swiftspear there too.
Yep.
Because the Watch for Tomorrow enters the battlefield tapped again,
Yep.
and that's just a lethal attacker, even without the second burn spell. So I think David probably needed to Eladamri's Call for a blue creature as opposed to ephemerating his Watcher there, so that he could actually just
Yeah.
so that he could actually have a way out.
blocker.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a look at the sideboard here. From David, we have 2 Phyrexian Revoker, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Path to Exile, 1 Knight of Autumn, 1 Teferi Time Raveler, 1 Scavenging Ooze, 1 Eidolon of Rhetoric, 2 Damping Sphere, 1 Stonehorde Dignitary, 2 Weather the Storm, and a Collector Oof. What sounds good to you?
Weather the Storm.
Yep. Anything else?
Scavenging Ooze, probably.
Yep. Anything else?
Night of Autumn.
Great. Next. Hallie has...
He probably could also
Okay,
he could probably take out Astrolabes.
Hey, what's up, Sam? Thanks for joining.
Probably take out Astrolabes and put in Path to Exiles too, because that card is very important.
Yeah, I think we want the full 4 path. The Knight of Autumn seems great. Scavenging Ooze, Weather the Storms. Those are the obvious ones. After that, we can kind of get a little cute if we want anything else, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think those are the cards we want. We want to keep our deck pretty consistent. Hallie, on the other hand, has 2 Deflecting Palm, 1 Molten Rain, hello, 2 Core Firewalker, 2 Rest in Peace, 3 Destructive Revelry, 3 Path to Exile, and 2 Searing Blaze. What do you like here?
Searing Blaze.
Yeah, that one's obviously great.
Yeah.
What do you think about like Path to Exiles from David's side of the, or from Hallie's side of the matchup?
It's a lot harder from Hallie's side because if Ephemerate is just so good against spot removal.
It is.
It also forces his hand though to use it if she has an Eidolon on the field,
Definitely.
which is another reason to maybe bring it in. Also, just pathing a creature, keeping creatures off the board and like playing the tempo game where you're like swinging Goblin Guides and
Just getting your creatures in there definitely matters.
could also. I would be on the fence, but I think leaning more towards bringing it in.
Okay, excellent. So I think we're going to see some light sideboarding from Hallie, a little bit more extensive from David, which makes sense given how game 1 went. You know, we saw Hallie just kind of run him over, and that's kind of what we expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and admittedly, I don't know what David was supposed to do that game. You know, I think I was kind of a big fan of, you know, forcing the Boros Charm, and, you know, I think he played the last turn a little so optimally, but regardless, all of these things...
I think Hallie's hand was just incredible.
Just too good, yeah. It's
And
really
he
hard
couldn't do
for
anything
many
about
decks in the format to really beat that. Anyone that's trying to do anything fair, at least, that's for sure. So we'll have to see how the second game goes. Both players have a Yoshi mascotting them on the sideline. Which Yoshi do you think is providing more moral support here?
You know what? I don't know which ones these are. They have personalities. I can't tell you that. I don't want to be wrong.
All right, it's Pumpkin and Sunset. Which one do you think is better?
You know, it is the season, you know, so I'm gonna go with Pumpkin.
Aye, Captain.
Yeah.
All right, you heard it here first. James rooting for Burn in this final match of the night. Both players taking a look at their 7s. Looks like David's going to send it back. We'll see if Hallie needs to do the same or if she's going to go ahead and keep. Her hand looks pretty reasonable. I see a Sunbake, Canyon, and Spells. That's usually enough to get me to keep a hand in Burn. I'm pretty lenient with these Burn keeps.
Have I ever told you how obnoxious I think Burn is?
Yes, many a time.
Only because I played dumb fair decks that leads to it.
Yeah, we played a sweet game at a tournament recently when I was playing Burn. With
4 extra mountains.
Hey, shut up. Just because I forgot to write Lava Spike on my deck list does not mean... we played a fun 2-game match where I had 4 extra mountains. Alright, anyways, looks like David will keep his 6. Hallie decided her 7 was good enough. And Windswept Heath, here's a Stomping Ground untapped. Hallie down at 18. We'll see what she has to do on turn 1. Presumably a creature of some sorts. Indeed it is. Here's an attack for 1. David will take it. And presumably he'll go down to 18 at the end of his first turn here to go find a land. So we'll see what David has to do here in these later games. He's definitely going to be relying on those Weather the Storms he boarded in, and hopefully cards like Knight of Autumn Soul Herder, definitely a lock in these post-board games.
I believe he plays Thragtusk main.
Thragtusk, just casting it is a lock, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to do anything funny with it. I think if it goes on the stack, you've won. And there isn't a Skullcracken response.
Yeah.
Notably.
But you can gain pretty much like 15 in these
Yeah,
games with
just
Weather the Storm.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah. David's shocking here.
Oh,
play
Coiling
a
Oracle.
Coiling
That's a
Oracle.
painful snake. Soul Herder on top, going to hand. Let's see what Hallie wants to do about this painful snake.
Probably attack.
Seems reasonable to me. Alright. Got a Sunbait Canyon. Seems pretty decent. Looks like a lightning bolt going upstairs.
I agree.
Yep. You're not dealing with the painful snake?
No.
Alright,
It's done enough on its own.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Here is...
Taking one from the canyon.
Let's see what she's got.
Double bolt.
That's a classic, basically.
Yep.
That's what it is. When all your cards do the same thing, you're going to have two of them often. All right, here's an attack 4-3. The snake, decidedly less painful now, as it saves David 1 point of damage. And drew him a card in the process. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Olive Blossoms.
That's
Talked
a
a
card
little bit about this one.
That's a card I like to see.
Yeah, I can get behind that for sure. Ooh, nice tapped land there.
A lot of shock lands in this deck.
Yeah, no joke. He's really seeing them.
Yeah.
All right, I think there's another land off the top. Goblin Guide in hand. Basic Plains from Hallie. That's one you don't see in Burn very often, especially in the 3-color versions.
Usually
Not
it's
so
just mountains.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I can really get behind that one, but, it's pretty good if you're getting Path to Exiled a bunch, so perhaps a metagame call. Here's a Goblin Guide, Boros Charm U down to 6. And here's an attack. David, of course, will get to block the Monastery Swift Spear or a Goblin Guide, but he is going to take 2 damage regardless and put himself down to 4. Windswept Heath, the top card of his deck, so he'll put that into his hand off the Goblin Guide trigger. But he's still in a pretty hard spot here.
Oh, yeah. What's his next turn? Probably cast Soul Herder?
Yeah, he's definitely going to need, like, a Weather the Storm. Oh, Night of Autumn off the top. Hello, that's the one we needed.
Yeah.
Right on time. And he does have that Soul Herder in his hand still. So if Hallie can't kill him this turn or deal with the Night of Autumn, David will get a pretty powerful engine going.
Yeah.
So he just needs to untap. He also has this Ephemerate in his hand. So he can, at any point, go and find a basic Plains and try to Ephemerate.
It could be doing it now.
I don't hate doing it now.
She's tapped out.
Yeah,
no
I think
skull crack.
I think I actually quite like doing it now here from David.
It's the safest time.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely know your opponent has Skullcrack in their deck, and you just need to untap with your Soul Herder.
And he's going to gain 8 life from this, just this Ephemerate.
Yeah, probably only 4, because let's be honest, this Light of Autumn's going to get a bolt pointed at
block. Yeah.
It's not going to block, but it is going to get a lightning bolt pointed at it. So effectively 7.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like David just decided to fetch, but then didn't cast the Ephemerate. That I am the least big fan. I am not a fan of that one.
That is taking damage for exactly no reason.
Yeah, Boros Charm U, put you to 3. Oh, she has a Skullcrack in her hand, but I think she might go for lethal here. Skewer you. Let's see. David's going to obviously respond with Ephemerate here to gain 4, so that he doesn't die. So this will end up putting him down to 4 life after the Skewer resolves. And then she's going to have an attack with Monastery Swift Spear and Goblin Guide. We'll see if he wants to do any blocking with the Night of Autumn. Excuse me.
I could see not blocking the Goblin Guide with the Night of Autumn.
I think I tend to agree. Just go to 2.
Yeah.
Oh, no attacks? Interesting. I think you definitely want to do attack there.
If there's one thing I like, it's pressure.
Either taking 2 damage or blocking with his Night of Autumn, and you know that he's going to be gaining 4 life on upkeep, and then 4 life presumably on end step with the Soul Herder. So I think you wanted to get in the 2 damage there. I think it was just going to be 2 damage, but still, if you're playing Burn, it's all about getting in as much damage as you
playing
can.
An Ice Fang Coatl on the main phase?
Presumably we have another land.
I would hope so.
Still can't say I particularly get behind this one. Oh, interesting line
Weather the
here
Storming
from
for
David.
6.
Why wouldn't you just play Soul Herder?
Soul Herder just seems like the most... Ephemerate. It's for 9.
Yeah, it's for 9, but still. Yeah. Why didn't we just play Soul Herder? We could have played Soul Herder and held up Weather the Storm.
Yeah.
I think that's a little more powerful. But
Weather the Storm is a great gotcha card.
Yeah, and also an instant.
Yeah.
Hack with Night of Autumn, calm down there.
It has summoning sickness.
He was thinking about it, but also calm. Even if you could, calm down
but
there.
David back up to 17.
Yeah, and now...
Hallie pretty empty-handed.
Yeah, feeling really good from David's seat, but... Yeah. This one was close. Hallie did, of course, watch David gain all of that life with the Skullcrack in her hand. And, you have to think in a different parallel world that David tries to gain some life and he just gets skull cracked and loses. That's definitely something that could happen.
Here's the attack that should have came last turn.
Yeah. Coming out now. Here is 2 Goblin Guide triggers, Island and Soul Herder.
That's double Soul Herder next turn.
Yeah. The second one actually not that effective.
Oh no, it's effective. It buffs the Soul Herders. The attackers are irrelevant.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You
don't gain the extra life, but having 3 toughness creatures is very relevant.
Looks like David's gonna trade with a Goblin Guide at 17.
I would not do this.
Yeah, I don't think I approve. This one does not get the Alex Moore stamp of approval. That block, I think, is not optimal.
Soul Herder, now a little worse.
Much worse now. What are we doing with it? I mean, yeah, we're drawing a million cards, and that's great, but, I want to be gaining life, too.
If you just gain enough life, what's Burn gonna do to you?
Yeah, all of their cards do damage, and every time you blink a Soul Herder, you basically blank their draw step. Mm-hmm. Plus some, usually, because some of their cards are lands. Like, the average damage a burn card does is, 2, Given that, especially the creatures are all going to get blanks, that even probably puts it down to, roughly 1. On average, you're blanking 2 or 3 turns every time you flicker that Soul Herder.
I would have Waddle before I offed that Knight of Autumn.
Yeah, and I don't think we even needed to off either.
Yeah.
No, at 17, just go to 15. Or just go to 13. Yeah,
13
whatever.
13 is fine.
13's a pretty comfortable life total when you gain 4 life and go back up to 17 immediately. Yeah. All right. So here we go. End step. Both Soul Herders will trigger. David's going to draw 2 cards. They both get 2 +1/+1 counters. Of course, they all see each other. And it's going to go back over to Hallie. We'll see how long Hallie wants to keep this one going.
She using her Skull Crack now?
Yeah, I don't know. You might as well, right?
I mean, all the life gain spells are gone.
Whatever. He's already played them all. Don't have any good attacks anymore. Let's see what she wants to do now. Potentially could draw a card with this Sunbaked Canyon. Lava Spike you. Yeah, well, that's the only mode on that card, so I tend to agree. Alright, looks like she'll pass the turn. We'll see if she wants to activate her Sunbaked Canyon at any point during this turn to try and rip another card. David's at 9. He does need to find a way to either win the game or draw an answer or draw some life gain at some point. Another Knight of Autumn. Okay. We're done here. That's okay. We, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of hope for Hallie at the end. Maybe she could draw Burn Spell, Burn Spell.
Pick up Weather the Storm.
Pick up Ephemerate. Ephemerate's fine. It gains effectively 8 life.
Yeah.
Right? Or, also makes your Soul Herders bigger.
Got attack for 7?
Yep. An attack for 7 here. That is half of Hallie's life total. I wouldn't hate a double block on a Soul Herder here. Nah, then you just lose to Ephemerate. Oh, but he's tapped out and can't play the Ephemerate. Yeah, I think I would have liked to see a double block on a Soul Herder there.
Get rid of an engine.
Yeah,
you're not attacking anyway.
You're going to be left with one of your creatures, right?
Yeah.
You're effectively trading a Goblin Guide or a Monastery Swiftspruce for a Soul Herder. That's excellent. Yeah, that's a very good trade. So here we're going to see David presumably gain 4 life and draw a card on end step. Assuming those were the targets he selected. Regardless, looks like Hallie's seen enough, and I think we're going to go to game 3 here.
As with many decks, if you turn the corner around Burn, you usually turn it hard.
Yeah. Usually Burn cannot beat
the corner.
It can usually beat the first relevant sideboard card.
Sure.
Some of them are better than others and much harder to beat than others, but it's usually resilient enough to be able to do 27 or whatever damage in a game, especially if it's creatures are getting in for damage early. Mm-hmm. But the second one's usually the nail in the coffin. There's just no real way for Burn to be able to deal 40 damage in a game or whatever.
Should this deck play Oko? Probably.
What, Soul Herder?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's in the colors.
Is the deck blue and green?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should probably play Oko. It's funny how we went from making fun of our friend for trying to play Oko in Modern to just being like, is the deck blue and green? It should probably play Oko. Is the deck blue or green? It should probably start being both and play Oko.
His Oko deck sucked. So
That's true. His Oko deck was really bad.
you hear me?
But we did still make fun of him for it.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
It was probably a little unjustified. He put it in a bad shell, I'll give him that. Turns out all you need to do is take good modern decks and put Oko in them, as opposed to making Oko decks and
Yeah.
trying to think Sultai Control will work all of a sudden in modern. And
He deserves to be made fun
yeah,
of.
clearly Sultai Control is never going to work in modern. Let's calm down. Alrighty.
Looks like we're not doing any sideboarding shenanigans. Just moving on. to game two.
Shuffle up. Tend to agree.
Who wins the race?
Yep. Hallie this time will be on the play. Let's see if both players manage to find a keepable 7. I see spells and lands on Hallie's side. That's a keep. Let's look at David's hand.
I see at least a force and negation.
Oh,
and
it's
some
not a
lands.
keep. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was bad spells and not very many lands. But
Oh, you know what I like to see against the
this looks like it must be a mulligan too.
yeah, against Soul Herder or against Burn when I'm playing Soul Herder.
What is that?
I really like to see them mulligan.
Yes, that's very good.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah, if you were sitting in David's seat and Hallie was like, both go to 0, you'd snap it off. Both players at 0 cards. We'll each start with
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of Magic you want to play against Burn for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
All right. So we've got both players taking a look at their 6s now. We'll see if these are keepable. Hopefully nobody has to go to 5. Going to 5 on the, game 3, the last round of the night's kind of a bummer every time. You hate to end the night like that. This hand has a Lightning Helix. I think I see a Searing Blaze. A couple lands at the back there from Hallie. Meanwhile, on David's side, I think I see quite a few lands and a Knight of Autumn. So probably going to be a keep. Even
Yeah.
if his hand is like 5 lands Knight of Autumn, we're probably going to keep that 6, I think. So it looks like Hallie will keep her hand. She's decided what will go to the bottom. Let's see what David decides to put to the bottom.
Let's see if David remembers what the Vancouver mulligan is. I see him
it's
draw
the London mulligan.
Yeah, London, whatever. He remembered the Vancouver one where he only drew 6. I saw him draw 7 way later.
Real late, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got both players on a 6-card hand here. Here is Inspiring Vantage, 1-drop creature from Hallie. She's really good at this. We've seen her do this in all 6 games.
Yeah.
or all
But
5 games.
It's like
excuse me.
it's like the purpose of the deck.
Yeah, Inspiring Vantage 1-drop creature is kind
Yeah.
of her go-to. And I see why she plays Burn then. If you're
Yeah.
going to do that every game, I would play Burn too.
Again, 5 points.
Yep, she might be missing her second land here, but
Burn
looks
can
like
live
she
off of
is.
that.
Yeah, not a huge rush, especially if she has like Searing Blaze for as soon as she finds it. That'll be very impactful.
Going to 13. Put up a wall of blossoms. Please.
Forget about it.
Yeah. Don't know if he has it. It's probably going to be an Oracle, if I had to guess.
Yeah, Coiling Oracle. It's probably not an Ice Fang Quaddle. I'm sure he would not play that as a sorcery. At least I sure hope so. Looks like I did see a Coiling Oracle in his hand, so that will be the play. Top card is Path to Exile. It goes to hand. And of course, Coiling Oracle can't really block this Monastery Swiftspear very profitably, so here is another Lava Spike. Why fix it if it isn't broken? Attack for 2. We'll see if David wants to take that 2. Or just jump away with the snake. I'm a pretty big fan of jumping the snake here.
I would
like David
too,
wants
but
to keep
looks
it.
like he did not.
Yeah, perhaps he has a Soul Herder that he wants to get down and generate some amount of value from. That would make sense. Looks like just a Knight of Autumn gaining 4 life here from David. Perhaps this Knight of Autumn and the Coiling Oracle will team up to be able to double block this Monastery Swiftspear.
I don't think that's what we're into, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. If that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. All right, Lightning Bolt, Knight of Autumn. I agree with this play.
Yeah.
Just get that thing out of there. Here's an attack for 2. We'll see if now the snake wants to gain 2 life.
No.
Does
he
not.
just gained 7 effectively, so. He's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it's true. That's true. But we're still at 10.
Yeah.
Another Knight of Autumn. David's really good at this game.
Yeah. I wish I was like him.
He's like really good at this game. Of course, Hallie just has yet to find her second land. Excuse me, not her last land.
I'm playing against Burn, you say? I should just draw the gain life spells.
No joke. There is the second land for Hallie. She has an Eidolon in her hand. I did see her draw that a turn or 2 ago.
But we do know David has the path.
Indeed, and so does she. Here's an attack with mana up. We'll see what David wants to do. Like, I'm a pretty big fan of double block. Oh, I do not like this block, though.
No.
We're just asking to get annihilated by a Boros Charm here.
Looks like it's happening, though.
Wow, I guess David the Sage knew what was happening here. Just decided that that was definitely going to be how this played out. Here is Rift Bolt from Hallie, electing to do this instead of the Eidolon of the Great Revel. I can't say I hate it. You know, our life total would get attacked pretty heavily by these Rift Bolts after we played the Eidolon, but I think you could be pretty confident that David would have just fetched out of Plains and Path to your Eidolon there, and, you know, you basically trade 2 damage and a Path to Exile for your Eidolon. I don't think it's really going to get better than that later, so I think I would have just done that, especially because it gives us lands to power out our threats later.
Ewit picking up Knight of Autumn, as you do.
As you do. Here come the burn spells. Do.
Put us to 8.
And we'll see what the draw step yields. It looks like a Monastery Swift Spear. Here is that Eidolon of the Great Revel. Probably just going to jam into a path. Looks like this is the play I talked about last turn. And notably, if we had done these 2 turns in the other order, we would have just ended up +1 mana on this turn, and we would have been able to also deploy that like Monastery Swift Spear we just drew. So that's kind of why I lean towards the other direction in these 2 plays. But regardless, the outcome is the same, so we'll see Hallie go and fetch out a basic land. David down to 5, but of course the Knight of Autumn, the 3rd one, will be able to put him back up to 9. We talked about the burn decks being able to do like 30 damage pretty reasonably. On a mulligan...
Oh, he has the Soul Herder and Knight of Autumn in hand?
Oh, my lord.
That's devastating.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Not like this.
I actually love it.
You love/hate to see it. If you let me tell you, if you are not a fan of Burn, tonight's VOD is the one to watch. Because we have seen nothing but Burn get smashed. So
is he choosing to...
Oh, my lord, I love it. He doesn't even need it. All right, he's gonna control himself a little bit.
Right. Hunker down, big boy.
Let's calm down here. We're still at 9. You know.
She has 3 lands. That's just 3 lands.
Yeah, bolt. You'd feel really bad if you lost the game like that.
Yeah.
Huh?
When you have this going on, and you're like, I can take it.
I'm a champion. I don't need it.
I'm David Pierce. I don't need your help.
They never have it. Yeah. All right, here's a Monastery Swift Spear. Lightning Helix will point at the Soul Herder.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. And then we get an attack for 2. I expect David to just take the 2 here.
As he has
down
been
to 11.
Doing this whole game. Boros
Charm left in hand. All right, the dream's not dead yet. Right? Soul Herder off the top. We're done. We're done here. Burn's dead. Let's go.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Hi, my name's David. I draw the perfect card every time.
Yeah. I hate this guy.
AMA.
He's just gonna Ewit back.
Ewit back the Soul Herder. He's just got Soul Herder, so she doesn't even know.
Something else. He did not pick up Soul Herder.
Who cares?
Whatever.
Here's the attack. Looks like an attack for 5. Puts Hallie down to 14, and then Soul Herder.
Hey, look.
Oh, look.
You know him. You love him.
It's Soul Herder.
Knight of Autumn.
Comes with Knight of Autumn.
Yeah. It's a value pack.
David whips out the finger guns. Bang, bang, bang. All right, let's see what Hallie's got now. She can get a cheeky attack in with this Monastery Swift Spear and hope that David makes a bad block.
Which he will.
Oh, man. This Boros Charm, of course, does do some fun things in combat. Monastery Swift Spear Double Strike is a pretty good one sometimes.
Sure. And deal 4, that's just 1 Knight of Autumn trigger.
Yeah, no joke. So it looks like she's just going to main phase upstairs with the Boros Charm. And then probably get an attack in. We'll see if David wants to do any blocking. I expect that he won't. Oh, we're reconsidering.
Blocking is attacking is dangerous. She's gonna have to survive the crackback.
Yeah, it's a lot of power.
Yeah.
All right. Off the top, it's another Soul Herder. The Knight of Autumn.
I hate this guy.
That's unbelievable. How does he always have it? It's just absurd. This is the most ludicrous string of draws I have ever seen in my entire life. How does he have it so often? How? It's unbelievable. I can't believe it.
This. Sure, chump it.
Yeah, I continue to play pretty reasonably. Good job, Hallie. Yeah. You know, sometimes you sit down for a match of Magic and the fates have destined you to lose. That's just part of the game. You got to accept it. This one, David was destined to win from the start.
Man,
just no doubt about it.
I don't know what the gods see in him, but
it's definitely something. At least more than her, I guess.
Yeah. Why isn't this guy on the Pro Tour?
This guy should be. This guy really does do it. All right. David,
nice guy. You might draw out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're looking for.
Thanks for the floor for giving us that magnificent quote. You might draw out of it. It's another bottom.
You might draw off in it. Slams another
Knight of Autumn. This is just unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, alright.
You can do the outro. I'm out of here. This is stupid.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Alrighty, so that was a pretty ludicrous last game. But in case any of you guys didn't see any of the earlier games from tonight and you want to check the VOD, please be sure to check out the Paradise Games YouTube channel. We upload all of the VODs that we stream. And if you are watching on YouTube, be sure to come check us out on Twitch. We stream Mondays and Fridays, Modern and FNM. So be sure to come check us out live. If you can interact with us in the chat, have a great time, I promise. I would love to thank one of our sponsors, Advancify, for letting me be here tonight. Advancify does the best IT web design and data recovery work in the business. They're Bellingham local, so if you like supporting local businesses, they're the people to talk to for you. Advancify.me for any IT web design and data recovery needs, and let them know we sent you. It really helps us out. It really helps them out, and we're all here to grow together, as they say. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow, like, share the stream if you enjoyed. We will be back on Friday with some standard Magic the Gathering FNM, and I can't wait to see you guys then. I'm going to leave you with some Hot Damn Scandal while we sign out. Thank you so much. I'll see you on Friday.
The bottom fell out of the clouds today, and the rain came down like a mirror. One big sheet and it shattered on the ground. Now it's 7 years of bad luck all over this town. It's collection time on all of your debts, and you can't get by just talking. Your smile don't work, and your car don't start, and your doors ain't keeping you alone. No, not even if you lock 'em. No, not even if you lock 'em. When you're tapped into that bitter vein, just about anything feels good. The sun tried shining on a lost boy's eyes. They reflected oh so pretty, but it's cold behind them golden shores, and the sweet light wasn't nothing more than their own damn wishing, 'cause they just don't listen. Now wish on your candles, pray to your God, cry for your mama, put $1 on the bar. It feels like breathing, but the only good feeling ain't a gamble is a sin. So I think I play it safe and get a gin. I'll take the devil for a spin. When you're tapped into that bitter vein, just about anything feels good.